All right, here I am. I really had better things to do today than to come to Chadwick, but it's such an inconvenience, but there's some things I just needed to take care of today. And, it's not just the inconvenience of this place, it's just that it's the memories of this place. They're just not that great. And while I'm thankful that most of the workers here have turned their frowns upside down eventually, there's still an element of trauma that comes with being here. And the memories just still haunt me. The memories of moving here and coming and bringing all my documents except the one that I actually needed, and then having to go back home without being helped, and then coming back a couple days later with all the documents I needed, but failing to bring the payment piece that I needed and not being helped and having to go back, and then coming back a couple other days later only to realize that they were closed on Monday. And when I think about the inconvenience of coming to this place and taking care of things that need to be taken care of, I sort of think back to a young couple, Mary and Joseph, and the inconvenience of the trip that they had to take to Bethlehem. Certainly, they had other things that they would have rather have been doing, but the governor had issued a decree, and they needed to return to their homeland to be enrolled, and so they can be taxed. And so, who really wants to go to a place to be taxed? And yet, for Mary and Joseph, it was even worse, because Mary was just about ready to give birth, and so they have to make this whole trip with Mary. And no doubt Joseph would have done anything to get out of taking the trip, and yet there they were. Life is full of inconveniences that come with the responsibilities they have just with living. There's chores to be done. There's appointments to be kept. There's papers to be signed. There's assignments to be completed. There's errands to be run. And while they're inconvenience, this morning I'd like you to think of them maybe as opportunities, because these are times when we meet people that we live with and that we live around. And how are we going to respond to those times when we deal with an inconvenience, when we're driving to a place and somebody pulls out in front of us? How are we going to respond when we get to the store and we deal with a clerk who has the personality of a serial killer? How are we going to respond when we get in the line and we think it's the shortest and it's the last one, and we look for something and we're on the phone with somebody and they direct us to 8 other people before they finally tell us that they can't help us? So how are we going to respond in those times? And I believe that these inconveniences that come from our duties are our opportunities, because people are watching us, and it's in the everyday things of life that we can have the greatest impact on people. And so my prayer for us is that in these everyday events that people will see Jesus in us, that we will display kindness and patience and concern and gentleness and love and joy. And so let's see the inconveniences of life, the inconveniences of duty, as opportunities. I don't know, one more thing. I'm just really happy and very thankful today that Suzanne is not in the same condition that Mary was in when they went to Bethlehem.